Welcome to the after party. Welcome to the after party. Did you bring some snacks and treats?
Yes, it did.
I hope you got me something to eat.
Maybe.
Welcome to the after party. Coming to the after party.
Right now.
I've been waiting here all day to act like a fool this way. Welcome to the after party. Join us in the after party.
Right now.
Oh, chocolate and gabbing, maybe some microphone gabbing at the after party.
With DJ Eric, Paige.
And I'm anticipating the next person who's going to be here. Not Ben. Maybe Kenny. If we say it 3-5 times, whatever that is.
Isn't it the same for is it Mr. Bean?
So I don't know. Is it Beetlejuice?
Mr. Bean.
Maybe Beetlejuice the same way.
Yeah, but I think it also might be Frankenfurter. I'm not too sure.
Maybe. We got a super chat from Cal. 99 cents. Thank you for the support, Cal. Appreciate it. We also had a super chat from Naruto before we even got started. $5 super chat. Thank you. I watched your review of the Suicide Squad. You never mentioned the after credits.
Squad.
See it. Yeah. No, I did see it. But I didn't mention it because it's kind of like we knew that there was going to be a Peacemaker show.
It's probably the least surprising after credit scene of all
unless
time.
You're talking about the Weasel scene, that wasn't that big a deal either to me. So they weren't like super crazy after credit scenes. So yes, I did see it. But we know there's a Peacemaker show, so there wasn't really much to say about it. But yeah, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it.
Edgy.
Is Ben fighting Eclipso? Ben is flying around the globe for
he was super spreader in 2020. Now he's super spreader in 2021. So if you see a COVID outbreak connected to Venice, it's most likely Ben because
yeah,
I think he might have been subject 0 last year. So
he's flexing all these pictures on the tarmac and everything, waiting at the airport to go away.
Well, it looked like he was flying the budget airline, so I don't know if it was that much of a flex.
Well, maybe. Can't wait to have him back so we can go through all of his photos and get all the details on his long flights everywhere. Staggervore with the 1 super chat. I'm already starting to miss Superman and Lois. Yeah, I mean it's obvious that Supergirl isn't filling that void for the show, and I get it, but when it comes back, it's going to be quality again, or will it? It's the second season, so we'll have to see where it goes. But yeah, I do miss Superman and Lois as well. Clifford goes, TV promos called out CW and why not doing Supergirl? They weren't doing Black Lightning ones either. I think it's pretty safe to say that from now on in the final seasons of shows, they're not going to invest money in promoting a series that's ending. I think that's kind of where they're at right now.
Well, they're also not promoting some shows that aren't in their final season. Like they're still promoting Dynasty, which is the lowest rating show on the CW for some reason. But then like Roswell, New Mexico doesn't get weekly promos, but that's not in its final season. I don't think it is, at least.
So is there no rhyme or reason why they're
I think
promos?
I think there is something for final seasons. Like, and people say, well, Arrow got promos, but Arrow was also, its final season was during Crisis. So of course they're going to put out promos during the whole Crisis thing. They want to build it as like much promotion around just the show,
and they were hoping to set up another show with season 8 there, obviously. So,
but obviously Supergirl, I know you can make that. Well, they did release a Painkiller promo, didn't they?
The Painkiller was the only episode that got a promo. Yes,
and maybe the finale. But I think the finale might have been some like weird combination trailer thing. It wasn't actually like just.
It was like the last, maybe for the final parts of the season or something.
Yeah,
I don't think it was specific for one episode.
But yeah, Ethan sort of highlights it. It has to do with revenue because I've seen there's all this drama about it, but with these trailers, it does nothing to bring people into the show because you know who watches the trailer? the people that already watched the show.
Right. Especially when they show
matter.
it at the very end of the episode.
Yeah. So I don't know why there's this whole blow up about it, because if this is the only reason I can understand if the actress was blowing up is if she was not being allowed to do interviews for the episode. That's the only promotional material that might actually advertise the episode, because they released promo images. But if she wasn't allowed to do interviews, then I can understand the blow up. But a promo is not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Because the only people that watch it are the people that watch the show anyway. So unless it's just like so they can get excited themselves.
Yeah, and the promo also helps us deduct what's going to happen. Like if we see the promo, we can sometimes figure out. But
if you watch the episode, then it's redundant anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just But in regards to what Ethan said, in regards to it being revenue.
Also, Azzy here called out CW not on promoting Supergirl too. The thing is that there's
no need. Like, who's going to jump in the final 10 episodes, whatever it is? Like,
yeah. So so let me say this: she has a vested interest in this season because her character's obviously getting a huge upgrade this season, and so she wants that to be showcased. The main
reason,
right?
For the frustration, I can understand that.
Right, I get it. So I feel her on that one, but I don't think it's going to change. I don't think they're going to go, "Oh, she's upset. We need to make promos now." It's just not going to happen. Nicole as well. Like anybody on the show, with the exception of Melissa, is going to care about that. Because Melissa doesn't, because
you got to remember, like, and Melissa's moving on to bigger and better things. Like, she used Supergirl and its final season to snag a production deal, which was very, very smart of her. But all the other actors and actresses on the show aren't necessarily gaining anything from the show ending. She's the only one that's gaining anything.
They're still campaigning for the next job they're going to get, so they want the season to do well. I can't blame them for that. This is their paycheck. They
100%.
Want that. I mean, like,
I think we would all do the same thing.
Yeah, I get it, but it doesn't mean anything. Like, it doesn't. Them being upset about the promos not happening isn't some cultural reset.
It's even like when Arrow ended, and you still had like Katie Cassidy and Juliana Harkavy tweeting out about the spinoff when they would have known before they even started tweeting that it wasn't happening. Like, they would have known a while before that it wasn't happening, but they started putting it out there. Because it helps them, it boosts up their like interactions and everything like that. So, of course, I think everyone would do it if you're in that position.
Yeah. The thing is, and also, I'm not really impressed with Supergirl this season. I think this is one of the weaker seasons of Supergirl. And
I watched the most recent. I watched yesterday's. I watched it last night before I went to bed, and like, I just don't know what they're doing. And that's not like a slight on the show, like, oh my god, the show's terrible. But I'm just like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, Arrow's final season sort of had, even though I didn't like, I'd say about half of it, because half of it was really focusing on the potential spin-off. It sort of had a clear path, and that was that road to crisis and everything like that. I don't understand what Supergirl's for a final season. I don't know what it's aiming towards. So
what I get from Supergirl, and my review hasn't gone up yet. I've already recorded it. It's already been filmed. I just have not uploaded it yet. But my thoughts on Supergirl is Supergirl does a really good job with showcasing like a diverse group of characters. It does a really good job of picking stories that are important globally. I get it, but they're just not doing a good job of writing the episodes. That's just kind of how I feel about it. Like, I can tell you what the subject matter is. Like, last week was an environmental episode. They were talking about like global changes to the temperature of the earth and how it's affecting the ecosystem. Like, that was the scope of the episode. It's something that can work in any language in any part of the world. Like, it translates well to everyone. So it's not just specific to like the United States or wherever the episode is supposed to be. And this week's episode was about systemic racism and oppression and things like that. And they wanted to showcase that with aliens. But unfortunately, the aliens on the show should have progressed past all that by now. That's the whole point of what Supergirl has been doing.
Well, they've been doing that since season 2, haven't they?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, this episode felt like it was an episode that should have happened 3 seasons ago. That's my only issue with it. I just think, like, if you're going to tell the story, start showing that what Supergirl has been working on over the last 4 seasons has made a difference. Because if nothing is different, if they're still locking up aliens and they're still mistreating aliens, then nothing she has done has changed anything. And that actually speaks really poorly about the progress made on the show. So I feel like if you're going to tell the story about these aliens and this allegory towards systemic racism, fantastic, but you've already told the story. We've already had episodes like that, and it feels like they're stepping back on what they've already done. However, I did like the stuff with Kelly and Alex. I thought that was great, seeing those characters getting more time together. I think the pep talks need to go. I said that in my review that hasn't come out yet, but I do believe that the pep talks need to go. Like, they feel out of place on these shows. You know, Stargirl doesn't really rely heavily on that. Superman and Lois doesn't rely heavily on that. I don't think Naomi's gonna rely heavily on that. It's like a fragment of what the Arrowverse was that becomes cliche and predictable. I hate it on the Flash. I hate it on Supergirl. I feel like it needs to move on. And it was very obvious this week when Alex pulled Kelly away to remind her how awesome she was. And I'm like, in real life, this is not how people talk to each other. Like, I don't pull my friends aside to give them a pep talk every day. It's just not how people talk to each other. And
Eric
so
does
it
that to
feels
himself
weird on
just
the
before he
show.
records.
I do. I have daily affirmations in the mirror.
He looks in the mirror.
Say it to myself. I don't want to be disrespectful to the team behind Supergirl. You know, I'm always apprehensive on what I say when it comes to this, but I just don't think the writing is very good for Supergirl. I think they have good ideas. I think they understand the characters. I think that they are falling into this trap of writing real world things into the show, and they're just not very creative with it. That's probably my biggest complaint about Supergirl. Otherwise, I'm okay. I think the VFX are fine this season. I don't have a problem with the editing, the pacing, any of the characters. I just think that the bigger stories need to be more personal. They're going for these global overarching stories, and sometimes they don't work within the context of the show. It's kind of my biggest issue with it right now. So
I am curious whether this last season is just going to be extremely underwhelming, because I don't know what they're doing. Like, do you know where they're heading? Like, because I have no idea.
No.
Like, the only thing I can assume is that Supergirl's going to leave Earth. That's the end. That's like the end. That's like the finale where she goes.
It's pretty clear to me that every character, like, you know, we're talking about Nia and Supergirl and the fact that Brainy's kind of been gone for a while and stuff. I think every character, with the exception of a couple of the Earth characters, this includes John and pretty much all of the Super Friends, I think everyone's going to kind of move on and do something else. I think they're all going to leave Earth and go somewhere. I think John's going to go to Mars. I think Brainy, Nia, Supergirl are either going to go to Argo City or go to the future, or both. I don't think any of those characters are going to stay on Earth, because it just becomes too much of a problem for the storytelling on the shows that still exist.
Specifically Supergirl and Martian Manhunter.
Yeah. I don't see Brainy staying for any other reason but Nia, but I think Nia would probably rather go to the future. I think the future would be a better place for them to be together, because he's like a robot, an android. So it's just it's kind of a weird story to just leave on Earth without following it up. Like, if we were going to have a show with Nia and Brainy, maybe, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think those characters would be better off having like a fairy tale sort of ending, to me. And I think John going to Mars seems the most logical. I feel like they're going to go in that direction, or I don't know. I don't know what they'll do with this character. Him sticking around with his powers and stuff and not helping people seems like something that won't happen. I don't know what they're going to do. You're right. I have no idea what this season is. I wish
the fact that no one in the chat can even sort of give like some sort of answer, sort of, I think, proves that. No,
I think that Nixley is going to have something to do with the main story. I'm going to guess so. Yeah. The other thing about this episode, and I have to talk about this, even though I don't know if everybody in the chat's watched it or not, but the fact that Nia is willing to unleash a fifth dimensional imp without talking to anybody else on the team, that's a huge oversight, and I just don't believe that Nia would do that. It feels really weird. So yeah, I not so happy with the writing on Supergirl right now, but we'll see. Carl will become a donut chef in New York, a barista. She'll be a barista, I guess. Yeah, Zoko, this was in my review. How did the cop not see Kara's heat vision? How did they not get that on camera? There's cameras everywhere in prisons. There was no camera right there where that guard was. Highly unlikely. She used 2 of her powers while she was not in her suit. So there we go. There we go. I don't even know if I need to. I don't even know if I need to release my review of Supergirl now. I pretty much said everything I need to say. I could rant for like an hour about it though. Maybe I'll still put it out as bonus video or something. If anybody in the chat saw Supergirl, feel free to leave a score. I'm very curious what people are scoring this past episode.
I don't even know. It just felt like nothing happened.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Kelly got the suit from James. I guess he gave up being a hero. He's like, I'm out.
And yeah, actually, I remember that. She said she's going to cut the front of it off pretty much and then spray paint it gold.
Yeah. Yeah. And she also, apparently she said that James was older than her, but when they first met, she was older than James, I guess.
Maybe they're twins, and maybe I was 1 second ahead of you. No, I was 1 second ahead.
I saw several people blaming it on Crisis, and I'm like, I don't even know if that's.
I just blame it on inconsistency, probably, if anything. But
Cody says Nia by the end of the season will have an LGBTQ youth center set up. I mean, maybe, possibly. Nia
maybe
is like
maybe she opens a Dreamcatcher store.
I don't know. Nia and the story with Nixley is really the only thing I was interested in this episode.
And
I mean, I thought the stuff. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Like, what's the owl? Like, what is? I don't understand any of this.
Maybe the owl is clickbait.
Maybe, I don't know. The writing is all over the place for the season. I mean, maybe they'll have an amazing ending. I don't know. People seem to love what's going on. I have no clue. All right, let's talk a little bit about Stargirl since we're at that point. Season 2 episode, is it 4? Summer School Chapter 4? And,
episode 4, Summer School Chapter 7.
7, okay.
Yeah.
So somebody said Nixley is a boring character. Nixley is Agatha all along. So Radical Z sent a super chat. It's not showing up for me. Where's it at?
It mustn't have processed and gone through.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh no, it's right at the top. I can read it out if you want.
Yeah, if you can see it.
I know this is off topic, but thoughts on What If and are you hyped for Shang-Chi? Also, Sportsmaster was rude to Pat about being off the training program. LOL.
Okay. So the second part of that with Pat and Sportsmaster kind of ties in with what we're going to talk about here. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But the Shang-Chi thing is, yes, I'm excited. I'm seeing it tomorrow. And are you seeing it this week or no?
I'm still in lockdown. I'm going to be in lockdown until Christmas.
Are you really?
Yeah, the cinemas aren't going to be open here for the rest of the year.
Really?
Suicide Squad still hasn't been in cinemas here.
Are you trolling or is you being
no?
real?
Suicide Squad has only made like $3 million in Australia because Sydney, which is, if it was Sydney was in America, it'd be the second largest city in America, is closed. No one can go to the movies.
What about the people in Perth?
Yeah, but everyone in Perth has 3 heads. No one cares about them.
Are you serious though? You're in that.
Yeah, I don't know when we're getting. I get my first COVID #Pfizer flex shot on Saturday, so I'll be fully vaccinated by the end of September. But I don't know what they're doing. They're thinking about bringing in that vaccine passport thing.
Actually, my phone popped up.
Do.
Yeah, my phone popped up and says that now we have an app that we can use for that. So
yeah, well, ours is like through like the government health thing, and then like it goes onto your phone. But yeah, if they bring that in, then I'll be happy because that means by the end of September I can just do what I want. You just have to have your phone with you, I guess. But yeah, for people that like anti-vaxxers and stuff, they'll be stuck in lockdown.
Yeah,
be able to do anything.
It's the same way here. I mean, I don't want to get too much into it because YouTube loves to lock down these videos. But
well, you do have the MAGA microphone.
Yeah,
and shirt today.
Here it's going to be the same way. I have a feeling they're going to go towards the passport because they've already released one for our phone. So I'm assuming
the fact that they're putting it on the phone makes me think that means they're going to have to. They're doing the passport. Yeah, because they only just did it over the past couple of weeks. They made it a thing.
Well, I'm going to see Shang-Chi tomorrow. Have you watched What If this week or not?
Yeah, I watched it last night. It was actually the best episode because it actually felt like What If.
Yeah,
the first 3 episodes to me just weren't What If. They were just like, alternate thing.
The closest one to that would have been the T'Challa episode. I think that was the one that was the most like what if.
But even then, I don't think it was. But even then, it was because to me they felt like alternate timelines. This felt like an alternate universe.
Right. Yeah, especially because of the events that happened.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know, the episode is what if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? And it's a kind of a love story, but it dives into like crazy stuff. It is the reason why I love this one, and I'm going to talk more about it on Sunday when I have like a full video about it. But just briefly speaking, without any spoilers, what I loved about this one was it wasn't a retelling of a story that we already had. At the very beginning, it very quickly explains to you kind of where we are, like in terms of like compared to that first Doctor Strange movie, and then it's just a completely different story. So for me, it was the best. It was the best.
It's sort of funny. This is my favorite one because I didn't even really like the Doctor Strange movie that much. I think it's actually pretty boring. That's just me personally. So I didn't really like it that much. But this was easily the best.
What if episode?
What if episode?
They all need to be like this. Like, give us like 2 or 3 minutes at the beginning.
Yeah, they can't just be like, oh, it's this story, but we just put this character in there. And there's little changes.
It's Spider-Man in the Hulk movie reenacting everything that happened in the Hulk movie, but as Spider-Man. Like, I don't want to see that. I feel like that's a waste of time. So, let's see. Radical Z with a $2 super chat. You're my favorite DC fan channel and MCU one. Well, thank you, Radical Z. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. But yeah, so this episode definitely was the better of the 4 that we've had. So look forward to the rest of the season. Hopefully it's as good as this. So this episode of Stargirl, spoilers by the way, it was an Artemis episode. I mean, it did have other stuff in it, but it was basically an Artemis-centric episode where we get this emotional beginning with her visiting, Sportsmaster who's locked up, and how she's going through all this crap with like these foster parents that she's got. That mother, like, she was a bitch, right? like the lady that was watching after at the beginning. I was like, she's just awful. Like, she was like going to get her nails done and she didn't care. She put like junk food in a bag for Artemis and just what did you think of that lady?
She was just one of those people that just brings in foster kids so she gets money from them and just does the bare minimum.
Yeah. I was like, wow, this is awful. So that kind of sets the stage for what Artemis is going through. And she wants to be on the football team, but she's feeling depressed because of what's going on with her family.
Football.
And, also football, American football.
Yo, gridiron, man. Throw the pigskin.
Right. So she's dealing with that. We get a moment where Courtney tries to like extend an olive branch to her and sort of apologize for what happened by giving her like an apple. And at first it looks like they're going to make amends. And then obviously they say the wrong thing and it pisses off Artemis and she gets really mad again. And so she has anger issues, I think, as we can see throughout this episode. But ultimately the story is that her parents break out of prison to stay with the Dugans so they can go see her try out for football. And then they're going to break back into prison to get themselves locked back up. What did you think of all this? Did you have it? I thought this is like the strangest, most odd way of like handling this. I thought it was silly. It was almost a tad bit too silly for Stargirl, but I feel like those characters have been kind of the funny characters from the beginning. Like they've been kind of the comic relief characters. So what did you think of this whole premise, that whole setup? Did you have an issue with it or no?
Not really. It sort of fit in line with the characters.
So you believe that they were going to go back to jail? I didn't think they were going to go back to jail.
I don't know if they'd be willing. I don't know if they'd willingly go back to jail, but I don't think they'd have an issue going back to jail.
Because they seemed to me like you almost didn't know. And then when they were talking with each other at at Pat's house, Courtney's house, and Sportsmaster was like, "Why were we never friends?" And Pat's like, "Oh, because you tried to kill me." It's just like they're in this other world completely. But I like the chemistry between them. It was good seeing them back. They were 2 of my favorite characters from season 1, Sportsmaster and Tigress. So I absolutely enjoyed having them there. And Artemis has a meltdown because Cindy is using the Black Diamond and like whammies Artemis on the field after she's just thrown this amazing pass. And so she starts to see like these, were they agents or were they police officers? I didn't know what they were. They looked like they were just people in black with weapons.
SWAT officers.
Yeah, and they were going after her parents. And so she freaks out. She goes over and starts attacking what she thinks is one of these officers that ends up being Courtney. And so we again get to see that Eclipso is, I mean, that was from a distance. He was quite a ways away from her, and he still managed to like enchant her or whammy her. And what do you think there are any limitations, or do you think he's just getting more powerful? Do you think that's
Well, I
what
think
it is?
he was just tapping into her anger.
Like her just general, like her demeanor
Anger
and
and
stuff, like
fear.
her, yeah.
Just her general anger and fear. So, yeah, just tapping into that. And then obviously the fact her parents were there when she knows they're not meant to be there. Obviously, what's the one thing she would fear? And that's them getting caught.
Mhm.
And that's why she has that illusion. And Eclipso puts that on her. Lucky she didn't snap someone, like some random's head off, though. That could have been a potential
I
issue.
know. Well, the thing was, I actually was surprised that Courtney didn't really fight back, but I'm guessing it's because of what happened previously, where she got in trouble for fighting.
Yeah.
Maybe she was thinking about
And
that.
then again, it's also like she probably got caught by surprise. It's just like, what the hell?
Yeah. So,
WTF?
But because of this, she loses her chance to be on the team. And so Cindy sort of recruits her into the new ISA, or are they going to call it Injustice Unlimited, or do we not know for sure if that's what they're going to
I
call
think
it?
they're just sort of saying New Injustice Society. I think that's what they've been calling it in the synopsis. But
all right.
I think to distinguish them, if you were going to say, you'd say Injustice Society and Injustice Unlimited. But I think to keep it simple, it's just a new ISA.
Yeah, Cal says it seems like Cindy is forming her own ISA. Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely what's happening. Or she thinks she is. She thinks that's what she's doing. Do you think that Eclipso is going to allow her to do this? Do you think that's what he wants? Or do you think this is one of those like carrots being hung in front of her that's like, if I do this for you, you'll keep, letting me absorb people or whatever. Do you think that you think we're going to get that team, or do you think that's just the dream? Like that's what she wants, but it's not going to happen.
No, I think we're going to get that team, but I think she'll get it, but it'll be like I think we'll get it over the next like 3 or 4 episodes, probably. That team.
So you think the recruitment process is going to go very quickly?
And what episode? So it's episode 5 next. It might even be like 2 or 3 episodes.
Because she also brought Isaac down there and gave him the fiddle or violin or whatever it is.
Viola, I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So she's got 2 people that she's pretty much roped in already. So that leaves what is it? Jordan and Mike are the last 2. Is that it?
Cameron.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Cameron.
No, Cameron and Mike.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yes. So she's just about done.
You said Jordan.
No, I did, and then you corrected me, and I said yes. Like
you're thinking of Icicle Senior,
right? Yes. But yeah, so those are the last 2. So that to make it 5, a team of 5. So, but what is Mike going to be able to do? He doesn't have powers. Like I'm not sure why they would bring him on.
Well, I know in the comics, Thunderbolt has a enemy. I'm trying to remember. Blue. Hold on, let me Thunderbolt. Let me just try and find it. It's like a blue genie. I don't know if that would be what happens,
right?
But I'm pretty sure that it's like a Google. You're fucking hopeless. There we go. What's this? I think it's a blue genie.
From Aladdin.
Here we go. There's an arch enemy, a blue
Is it Will
genie.
Smith?
Does it come from a pen?
Is it like a reverse Flash genie? Reverse genie, maybe?
Okay, so it was they were separate and then they merged when Jakeem Williams Jakeem Thunder became the Thunderbolt, and that's where the so cool thing came from when they merged them together.
Okay.
I don't know.
So maybe, I wonder if that's going to split. Maybe it
splits and Mike gets the blue, and Jakeem has the pink. Maybe I'm not too sure.
We'll see.
Keep that in mind, yeah.
So anyway, I love the story. I think the whole thing with Cindy's very interesting. It's kind of crazy. She's walking around and no one is really noticing her, like doing all this stuff.
Maybe Eclipso's doing that.
I'm guessing, because I was thinking last night, I'm like, how often can she get around without people seeing her? Let's see. We also have Courtney and the new JSA. They're trying to dig in the secrets of Bruce Gordon and Eclipso. And she heads over to dig into some literature about Bruce. And surprise, surprise, the Shade is there. Did you expect him to give Courtney so much information? Because she got a lot of info from him. There's a big info dump there.
Well, I think it was mainly to info dump so she would stop. But
right,
Courtney's never gonna. But Courtney's not going to stop. We know that. So
yeah, I mean that's part of her personality.
Because obviously he doesn't know Courtney. We know Courtney. We know she's not going to stop. But he thinks if I tell her this, and obviously about the whole death of Rebecca McNider and everything like that, this might push her off it because he doesn't know her. And he's probably trying to think of maybe Stripesy, that Stripesy might not keep pushing on with it.
Mm-hmm.
But Courtney's a different beast. She's going to keep pushing with it and bring Pat along for the ride. So if anything, he just pushed her more into it, and gave her some answers and even things to follow more into. So,
I was actually surprised that, like, because I mean, do you think she still thinks that he's a bad guy, or do you think that she thinks that maybe there's something else there?
I think she doesn't trust him 100%, because also he says like because when she said like why are you doing this now after all these years? He's like, oh, I was bored. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, bullshit, you're bored, and there's a reason you're doing this.
Yeah,
and obviously I think we're going to find that out. Whether it has to do with one thing or the other, I think we're going to find that out over the next few episodes. But even he's keeping that a secret. Yeah,
because when he said that, I'm like, yeah, this is totally misdirect. Like he wants the Black Diamond for a reason. We just don't know what that reason is yet.
Yeah,
I don't think he's trying to do anything to, like, I don't think he cares about Blue Valley. Whatever his plans are, they're beyond Blue Valley, which is why he doesn't want them getting in the way. And that's fine. I guess the biggest thing we find out is at the end of the episode, because Beth had been working on the goggles and trying to, deal with her parents' divorce and stuff like that. But at the end of the episode, she gets contacted by what we assume is the real Charles McNider. And he's trapped in this shadow realm. Is there a name for that? Or is it just a shadow dimension, shadow realm?
It's the Shadowlands. He calls it the Shadowlands in the episode as well.
Yeah, but I didn't know if that was just a generic. I didn't know if that was actually the name of the place. So he's there, and are we to believe this is really him, or is it just like his soul, or like is this a physical? Because we see him walking. You see him walking through there trying to talk to Beth and stuff. Do you think, like, are they going to be able to go in and get him out, or is this something that's going to tie into Jade and Obsidian? Like, how do you think this is going to work? Because this seems like completely disconnected from the main story.
Well, he would physically be there because it's not like some like mental realm. Like it's an actual, like a dimension. It's like a shadow dimension. Yeah, like the Shadowlands is an actual area.
So his physical body is in there.
Like in the comics, I think in DC Rebirth that just went past, Wally and Barry get trapped in it.
Okay.
They physically get trapped in it. I think from memory.
I haven't read many stories with the Shadowlands, so I have no idea, really.
Well, it was only brought in, I think it was brought in like the late 90s, early 2000s, I think. Okay. It wasn't, because the Shade wasn't really a character properly. It was just called the Shade, and it was really basic. And then in the late 90s, early 2000s, they reinvented him, actually called him Richard Swift. Like he wasn't called Richard Swift till about 20 years ago, but he's been there for ages in the comics. So they sort of reinvented the character, and that's what Stargirl was using. But it'd be interesting, the Shadowlands stuff, because obviously that's what Obsidian connects to as well. It's not just the Shade. It's Obsidian. There's like a few other characters as well, along with the Shade. So maybe Obsidian is stuck there. Maybe he tried to use his powers, and maybe once they get Dr. Midnight out, they get Obsidian out. Or maybe it's a mixture where only one can leave or something like that.
Maybe
they find each other.
That might be how they like rope Jade back into the team, by this being a thing that they have to work on together. Like maybe she'll show up and say, I know where he is, but we have to get him out. And then Beth is going to be, well, that's where, Dr. Midnight is. So we can work together and we'll get him out that way or something. I have a feeling that something's going to connect there, because it feels like right now that story is really disconnected from the main story, but we'll see. I enjoyed this episode. I don't think it was the best. I still think last week was my favorite episode of the season.
Yeah, I think episode 3. I think it's just probably my second favorite though. Okay. After episode 3. Because episode 1, 2 was just a lot of like introductions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But last week was just very good.
I mean, I dive a bit more into it in my review. If you guys want to check that out, it's up now. But I don't have a lot of complaints about this episode. So for me, I think they're still
Just the
moving in a
lack
good
of
direction. So.
intense twerking and chocking. That's
Yes, that absolutely. In
That's
the
the
chat,
usual
let us know
complaint.
your score for Stargirl this week. What did you think of the episode? And do you have any thoughts and opinions on anything that we talked about? Mike Glenn here with the 499 super chat. Thank you so much, Mike. He says Dr. Strange already lost his heart when his sister died. They didn't establish him being in a relationship with the doctor. So I think we're supposed to just assume a couple of things. One is that everything that we saw in the first Doctor Strange movie, with the exception of of Dr. Palmer dying, all of that is kind of the story that we've got. Like, I think that's what it was, like him going, getting the training and everything and whatnot. I don't think his sister's even a part of this. Like, I don't have no idea what connection that has with this. And I don't think they bothered to establish a relationship with the doctor because, let's be honest, that would have taken the whole 30 minutes and no one would have wanted to see that. So I think we're supposed to just remember that from the film. And that is what we need going forward. Because you can't have both. We've already found out they're not going to do both. We're not going to get the stories that we need to get to where our characters are in order to tell a what if are things that you kind of have to already know, right? Like, you have to kind of have the baseline idea of who these characters are.
It's no, you can't blind watch. You have to sort of be familiar with whatever they're basing the movie off, or what they're twisting around.
I mean, that's the fun of it. That's the whole point of What If is that we know these characters and we're seeing alternate versions of them. So we already know Doctor Strange's relationship with Dr. Palmer. We already know that. Like, that was already established in the movie. They didn't have to redo it here. Because to be fair, if you were to watch this without ever watching Doctor Strange, you'd be so completely confused. You'd be like, what? Who is this person? And I get that, but I think that's the beauty of this. I think that's this series is probably the most fan-oriented thing that Marvel has ever attempted to do, because they're allowing us to go, we're not going to take what you know for granted. Like, we're not going to assume that you've never watched these. We're going to assume you've watched everything, and here are these stories. Would I like them to be a bit longer so we could get more context on stuff like this? Sure. Why not? Make them an hour long. But with them only being like 30 to 35 minutes long, I don't want them to focus on too much of the setup. Like, go ahead and get into what we need to get into. And that's what I think I really loved about this episode, was that they get into that in this episode. They don't spend a lot of time on that setup. So we're looking for two different things, I guess, Mike. If that's what you were looking for in the episode, that's fine. That's not what I wanted. The episode did pretty much, I don't really have any complaints about this episode of What If. I think it did everything that I needed it to do. So, any thoughts on this at all, Paige, or?
Not really. I just watch them. I don't think about them too much.
All right, let's see. We had another super chat here from Mike. Mike, thank you again for the support. It seems implausible Mike could be a villain in a superhero household. I had a super chat about What If. Yes, I just got your What If. I wanted to wait till we were done with the Stargirl stuff. It seems like Mike could be the villain in a superhero household. I don't know. He's feeling very disconnected from the family. Do you think it's implausible that he would be a villain? I mean, he's always been kind of a brat. So I don't really think, I think the line between being a villain and being a brat, he might cross that, you know?
Well, I think for all three of these new members, or the ones that, like, so with Isaac, I think he would probably join regardless. But I think because Artemis didn't officially accept it, she still hasn't accepted it yet. So Isaac technically is the only one that's even somewhat connected at the moment. But I'd assume Eclipso is just going to influence them.
Right. Well, you know what? If that genie does split, that may sway Mike. That might change his mind. Like, if he gets access to that power, it may corrupt him and make him make decisions that he wouldn't normally make. I mean, what if the genie comes in and he's like, hey, you know, by the way, we could do this, that, and the other. All you got to do is wish for it. And like starts to, like, you know, corrupt Mike a little bit. I don't know. It's possible. I would say yes. If it was just a superhero household, there was no outside influence, I don't think Mike would be a villain. But Mike could be doing it without he might agree to do this without knowing that he's a villain. He might say, oh, I just want a group of friends. These are my friends. Like, these are people that get me. You guys didn't want me to be a part of the JSA. They wanted me to be a part of the ISA. So I decided to join up with them. There's a couple different ways I think it could go. We'll see. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the next thing on the list here is the Flash crossover photos and things like that, because we've had more pictures from those. I'm going to pull up your Twitter again.
Flex.
Yeah, Flex. Pull up your Twitter again. We're going to look at these pictures since we've had a few more things to come out. And here we go. This is over on Paige's Twitter. His link to his OnlyFans is there as well. So make sure you head over and check that out. So we have, of course, the Atom with the Flash here. We have the picture of Despero, which we have another photo of this I want to show in just a minute that gives us a bit more context to the character. And we had the photo here with the tracking dots for the character. And I will say, after seeing, let me pull up these other photos here. After seeing the size of Despero, according to what I think this photo is showing, I would say that he's probably going to be more CGI than I anticipated. What do you think? I think he's going to be pretty much a CGI character.
Well, yeah, I think he's going to be completely CGI, but they're obviously going to have the actor's performance to base it off. So it's going to be very much like people might going, "Oh my god, don't compare it like that," but it's very Thanos.
Yeah,
like when I see these set photos, I think of Josh Brolin on set as Thanos
because they're using the proper tracking stuff. That's the stuff that you know.
Yeah, like if you even go to my profile, I replied to someone. So go to my profile.
Mm-hmm.
You have to use your mouse on your computer to go to my profile, Eric. Is
this a flex?
But I replied to someone. If you go through my images, there might be some nudes on there. But go to my. So just scroll through my images, and there's one where you can see looks like a GoPro in front of his face. And he's like, looks like he's giving the fist. He's like the fist. He's like fist of energy.
Wait, are you talking about Thanos?
No. So keep scrolling. It's after that.
Oh, okay. It's from Fraud. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, we'll pull that one up.
So he's got like the helmet.
By the way, since Canada Graph said I was giving credit to him and not the photographer, like your watermark is there and everyone knows you. We all love you. It was Paige's Twitter. Like I wasn't going. If I was going to your Patreon, I would have made a point of saying that. But yes, it was Canada Graph's photos. But I'm using a lot of individual photos as well, so they're all watermarked. I would never share anything without those. So let's see, where is it at? I think it's this one right here. Is this the one you're talking about?
Yeah. So you can see that they've got like the helmet actually tracking his facial movements, which is, as you can see my description there when I replied to someone, when they're actually retracting his face properly, so it looks like we'll be avoiding another Faweza disaster. Thank the Lord, Jesus Christ.
By the way, Canada Graphs, do you have more photos up on your Patreon? Paige, can you confirm or deny that? Are there more photos on Patreon for this? Because I know you were working on them, but I would love to tell people to go there, but I don't want to send them there under false pretenses. So, the actor seems familiar. He's been in a lot of stuff, like so much stuff. Like you say, he's familiar. He's been in just movies, TV shows. He's voice acted before. They're all up on his website. Okay, so go to Canada Graph's website, check it out. He's got plenty of photos over there, and dive into the world of this crossover event. So there was some interesting stuff here, and this is from TV Line. I want to talk about this for a second. And where is it at? Okay, so this one, and this goes along with the crossover as well. They got a quote from Eric Wallace, and a lot of people have been talking about this one. Yeah, I'm sure you saw this because I think you commented on this on Twitter. It says the Flash villain is for after the Armageddon aliens. It goes, well, as previously reported, showrunner Eric Wallace told me that one of the upcoming nemesis will be one of the biggest and most powerful villains that the Flash has yet faced quite early in season 8. So maybe he was referring to the 5-part Armageddon event. But now I will also share Wallace teased another new villain that will force Team Flash to face their morality and a highly personal
mortality.
Mortality. Oh, okay. I need to open up. I can't read. You know what? I can't even see that.
I don't know why you highlight them. Highlighting is what makes you. I can't.
Yeah, it is. It is. Anyway, basically, you guys can see it. What do you think this means? Because this is a pretty big deal, right?
Well, I think this is connected to when he was talking about like it was like a horror themed villain, or it's gonna be like a scary villain because Despero was just like an alien.
Right.
So this is going to be some sort of like other. Obviously, it's another. Well, yeah, it says it's another new villain. So I think it's going to be attached to that, like that horror. I can't remember what the quote was. It was like a scary horror sort of villain sort of thing. But when they say mortality, that's interesting because mortality is about
being their life, being alive.
Well,
right.
it's about death. So
yeah. I mean, life and death, basically. Yeah.
Is that the hint? Is that the hint, Eric?
So,
Is there?
But
have you
the
highlighted?
deal,
hold on, shut up, Eric.
Yeah,
You've highlighted this a shade of red. Red shirt, red marker,
maybe
microphone cover, mortality in regards to death. Are we getting some Red Death connections here live on the after party?
I will be honest with you. In this Chosen Vader owner here, I've asked this before and I will ask it again. If they do not give us the Red Death from the comics, people will riot. They will scream. They will go crazy. They will start destroying the internet.
Know what? No, idiots will do that. I think anyone with half a brain, I'm probably going to anger some people now, but anyone with half a brain knows, I think actually not using Bruce Wayne makes this better. Because no offense, it's vanilla as shit.
Well, so if you had the opportunity to do it not using Bruce Wayne with what we know on the show right now, how would you handle it if you were going to bring Red Death in?
I don't really care who it is.
Right.
But I don't think Bruce Wayne is essential to it at all, outside of the general look.
Right.
And let's be honest, I think if they do it, I think you're going to end up with like a speedster version of Batwing, and I hate that helmet that he has.
You're absolutely right.
Unless they do like a rubber one.
Yeah.
And even then, I think that might look weird if he has like the ears and stuff.
Because they would just do that suit in red and dark red. Like that's what it would be, probably.
Yeah, or it'd be like almost like reverse flashy. So it's like how he has like the black, but it's like a worn black, and then it's like a bit of yellow on the top and stuff.
What if they did it and they didn't connect it to any bat design at all? People would be so mad about that, right? Because that's what makes it kind of cool is the red bat symbol and everything and the ears. What do you think?
Maybe it's a speedster version of Luke Fox.
I mean, maybe, but cameras wouldn't be doing double duty on both shows, right? They wouldn't do that. I feel like that'd be a really rough thing to do.
You'd probably just need to stun double for most of it until there's a big reveal. No, actually, let's not go down this weird theory. I don't know. I'd be interested because what was the other part of the quote? In a highly personal and ultimately terrifying way. So it leads into that.
It's going to be like a horror thing, which we've already talked about.
When they say highly personal, like, do they mean like, once again, is it we're leaning into this thing where it's someone that they know? Is it meant to be like Eddie Thorne? Is it meant to be Oliver Queen? I don't know.
If they bring back Eddie Thawne and use him as Red Death and not Cobalt Blue, I feel like that's a weird.
It's weird. Change. I wouldn't hate it though. I really wouldn't, as long as the story that they would use serves its purpose. Because I don't necessarily care whether he's Cobalt Blue or he's Red Death or whatever it is, as long as the story that they should use for Eddie when he comes back, or if he comes back, is there. That's the only thing I really care about. I don't care if he's got a sword as Cobalt Blue and got some weird amulet thing, or if he's just a straight up speedster who's killing people. Whatever it is, I don't really care, as long as that core story that is so clear. It's actually incredibly easy to do. It'd be very worrying if they didn't know what the general story was. Obviously, you can translate however you want to stretch it over a certain amount of episodes. Whatever they want to do there and who they want it to affect, but the general core there is a pretty easy one to go for.
No, Apartment 4 is not what they're talking about. I can almost assure you that's not what they're talking about, but Paige, you want to give a rundown on Cobalt Blue's powers?
It is pretty much an amulet that can take things. So he can take speed. He can just take stuff. So he's not a speedster, but he can be a speedster
because he can take that power. Speed. Right.
Yeah. But
so there we go.
Yeah. In the comics, it's Malcolm Thorne, which is a twin to Barry Allen that was separated at birth, which didn't like.
Yeah. So
So
the
it
thing
actually
is,
worked
though,
better on the show with
that
Eddie.
power is actually a very easy power to replicate on the show because you don't have to create anything new. You just have to use what effects you already have. The only effect
Yeah.
you'd have to make is like the power absorbing or the amulet absorbing stuff or whatever. Yeah. See, now people say give us Cobalt Blue. I see. That's the thing is I don't know. Are they going to give us both? Or are they going to just combine them together into one story?
I think it just depends what the story is. Look, I've been saying Cobalt Blue since season 2, but even I don't really think it matters too much. If it's Eddie Thorne, I don't think it matters too much if he's Cobalt Blue or he's Red Death or
Right.
whatever, as long as that story as to why he's doing what he's doing is what it should be, which is pretty much going after Barry because Barry is living his life. Barry's married to Iris. Barry's the hero of Central City. Barry got all the acclaim for apparently saving Central City back in season 1.
Even though Eddie's the one that sacrificed himself.
Eddie's the one that sacrificed, and all Eddie has in regards to anyone even knowing about him is a little plaque in CCPD.
Right.
But the Flash is plastered everywhere. And Barry's married to Iris. Potentially by the time Eddie rolls up, Iris could be pregnant. Who knows?
Ooh. It's going to be rough.
Which lines up with the Malcolm Thorne Cobalt Blue story from the comics, where he comes back to attack Barry. But by that time, Barry's gone and yeeted himself in Crisis. So he just goes and messes with everyone else instead to sort of get back at Barry from the grave. Or while he's in the grave.
Mike Glenn with 199 Super Chat here says, how will Bloodwork fit? And I think it's just going to be another story. I don't think it has to connect with the one with the other stuff. I think it's going to be its own thing. But I'm happy to see Bloodwork come back. I feel like that was the strongest thing that Eric did on the show next to the ending, some of the ending of the Mirrorverse stuff. So yeah, I'm happy to see Bloodwork come back. Staggervorth, the 499 Super Chat. If they use Malcolm Thawne, he wouldn't have to be Barry's identical twin. No, he doesn't have to be. I mean, that's something from the comics that they just threw in there, but they could totally just make him another person.
Well, it's the same story. Malcolm Thorne gets back at Barry because Barry got taken home by Henry and Nora, and Malcolm Thorne got taken home by abusive parents.
Yeah, but he could just be a brother. I mean, they could just make him a brother and not make him a twin. I think making him a twin is kind of irrelevant.
Just stick away from all the, even just stay away from that. Just make it Eddie.
Yeah, the
no
twin
relation
thing is
at all. It's the same story.
Good.
It's the same story because Malcolm feels that Barry took his life, and it's the same with Eddie. Barry's living Eddie's life, married to Iris, everything like that.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move over and talk a bit about Fandome. We have some information on that. Let me share the screen here because it's coming up very soon, and it looks like we're going to be getting some really cool stuff. So share screen, and we're going to do DC Fandome. This is from Polygon. And it says the Batman Gotham Knights Aquaman 2 headline DC Fandome's 2021 stream schedule. There's a lot of people mad about Fandome because there's not a lot of like.
But if you mean a lot of people, do you mean Snyder cultists?
Yeah. There's not a lot of stuff from the Snyder. This to me is this is the end of that line in the sand for them. This is them burying all of that and moving forward with new stuff. Yeah, that's what this is.
I'll tell you what, there's one big error, and I haven't actually seen a lot of people talk about it, and it was a big issue last year, and it's like everyone forgot about it. And I don't know if you know what it is yet.
Wait, do you know with what Fandome?
Fandome.
The event itself?
Yeah.
You're talking about the on-demand video versus the live stuff? Is that what you mean?
It's somewhat related to that.
Okay, so what is it then? Because that's the only thing I can think of.
It's on one day.
Oh, because they split it up last time.
Well, no. The issue last time was that they did this weird lineup thing where they planned it for one day and then they ended up separating it by like a month.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And the second day was no live things. It didn't trend. But now they've got, so we're expecting a trailer for the Batman along with all these Black Adam, Flash, Aquaman 2 panels and secret stuff. All these HBO Max shows, all the CW shows, all the video game panels, all the comic panels on one day.
Right.
Did they not learn from last year where certain things just didn't work? Like a lot of the stuff just got swept under the carpet.
They trended so much better when they did it over when they did the live stuff versus the recorded stuff.
But even then, it was sort of limited at the same time because some stuff crossed over with each other.
Right.
Like they would have, I think, like wasn't it? I think they had Black Adam, and then straight after they had the Batman or something. Like, or was it Snyder Cut? So everyone just stopped talking about Black Adam like that.
Yeah.
No one was talking about it.
Yeah.
So why not? Why it's not over 2? I would even say 2.5 days. You know, last half of Friday, all of Saturday, all of Sunday.
Mm. Especially if you're going to have the stuff available to watch, like on.
And let's be honest, all of it's going to be pre-recorded. They're not going to rely on live internet.
Absolutely not. Yeah,
they're not going to rely on having Ezra Miller or something on a live stream. All of a sudden, his internet goes down. It's like, oh well, Ezra will be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
10 minutes. 15 minutes.
Also, it's pre-recorded because they want to control what information gets out there.
Well, it's not even that. It will be pre-recorded because they probably want to film on an actual set, not in front of a 720p webcam.
In a Zoom meeting or something. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
With potential dodgy internet.
Yeah. So the information we have says DC Fandome, DC Entertainment streaming fan event returns on October 16th. So there's the date, you guys. An announced schedule, Warner Brothers Pictures promises a new trailer for The Batman with glimpses of other 2022 releases like Black Adam, The Flash, and
2022 for now.
Yeah. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is the working title, along with DC movies and lineup promises, new looks, and upcoming comics, games, and animated projects. So none of this surprises me. I think all of this is kind of what I expected to see at Fandome. Anything here that you didn't expect or something that you thought they would do and they're not going to do? I mean, all of this to me seems like everything that I expected.
Pretty much. I think we'll actually get a trailer for Black Adam. I think it'll be a teaser trailer.
Okay.
So, and I think the Flash and Aquaman will be behind the scenes. Probably the same with Shazam too. Not too sure. They might release a teaser for that as well.
So the interesting thing here is we have new seasons for Batwoman, The Flash, Superman and Lois, and Sweet Tooth will get a new look courtesy of Warner Brothers Television. There's also a tribute coming for Supergirl as that show winds up its 6th and final season, plus a sneak peek at a new episode of Stargirl. And I believe they're going to have some Naomi stuff as well, which is not listed in this little snippet here. So that's pretty interesting. We're gonna get. Do you think we'll get trailers for all of those? Has that been confirmed or no?
Well, Batwoman's already started airing at the time. Batwoman starts, I think, the week before. I think it airs the season premiere is on the 13th.
Okay,
and then Fandom's on the 16th. So they'll probably release like a season trailer which is usually what they do whenever a season premiere is usually like.
Do you think we'll get like a season trailer before Fandome, or will they wait?
Oh, no, I think we'll get but by season trailer they'll show like stuff in the first 3 or 4 episodes over, because that's usually what they do anyway. They release like usually a trailer after the premiere which shows stuff like episodes 2, 3, maybe 4. But Batwoman will have a trailer probably like maybe 2 or 3 weeks for season 3, sorry, which is probably just episode 1, maybe episode 2 footage.
Right.
But then for the Flash, for example, Flash comes out a month after exactly. So for the that will probably be like the first Armageddon trailer, which might show stuff from all the episodes or just the first or second episode. I'm surprised Superman and Lois is on there because Superman and Lois is only going to have about 3 or 4 weeks of filming. So it's going to be a very basic look, I think.
Naomi is still moving forward. I haven't heard anything about
it's filming right now.
Yeah. As far as I know, they're very excited about it. And yeah, unless there's another site running saying that they're canceling it, but I don't think that's the case.
We got this covered.
Maybe possibly.
Cosmic book.
All right. What's next on the lineup here? Let's talk. This is kind of an edgy topic. So you ready to talk about?
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, so Eric teased this edgy topic and he wouldn't tell me what it was. So this is like a surprise. Is it a Screen Rant article? It's a Deadline article. Thank God.
This is old news, but I wanted to talk about it briefly because I wanted to talk about Titans as well. So, so we have Vincent Kartheiser. He had investigations over on-set misconduct claims. And it says here that he was a major news. He was an addition to season 3 of the Titans, which if you're not watching, he is playing Scarecrow. He plays the villain Scarecrow, is not on the poster for the new season, was not actively involved in publicity efforts for the new season. After a stint on the show, triggered at least 2 complaints of 2 internal investigations by Titan Studio, Warner Brothers Television. I've learned the studio declined comment. The allegations, which are believed to have included disruptive juvenile behavior and inappropriate comments, were investigated by WB TV's Labor Relations Department, which interviewed the relevant parties. The investigations were conducted remotely because of COVID protocols. It did not allow for Burbank-based investigations to visit the series Toronto set. Had you heard anything about this? I feel like you probably had seen this or heard about this, right?
I heard about it, but I don't really care. Like I don't know. Like I'm one of those people that you separate for the art from the artiste, and even then, like if this was that big of an issue, I mean, he would have been kicked off set straight away. I think. I don't think.
Right.
So I think
Well,
it's,
it says,
from what it seems like he must be a method actor.
Yes, like Jared Leto, very much like Jared Leto.
Yeah, so he must just get into the character and stay in that character while he's on set.
Yeah,
that's not me defending him. I'm just saying that seems what it is,
right?
Even though they don't really say that in this article.
Well, it says here, according to sources, the first investigation to a complaint said to be about verbal comments and outbursts concluded that Kartheiser's behavior didn't rise to the level of termination, but did warrant corrective action. The actor was verbally reprimanded by the studio. Weeks later, near the end of season 3 production, WB-TV received a second complaint that was also investigated. This time it resulted in the studio signing a representative to monitor Kartheiser while he was on set, sources said. I hear there were other claims about alleged misconduct by Kartheiser raised in complaints, but they were also investigated but not corroborated, sources said. So this, again, sounds like he was being kind of a loud, obnoxious, like, idiot on set, kind of like his character on the show, I'm guessing. Yeah. And then it says here, Vincent Kartheiser vehemently denies the allegations. Spokesperson for the actor said in a statement to Deadline on Friday, Warner Brothers investigated this matter and made clear to Mr. Kartheiser its expectations for behavior on set, and he agreed to comply with their directives. So clearly this was it was handled on set. This kind of broke out the last couple of weeks. I've seen a lot of articles about this.
But do they have a quote from Warner Brothers TV, or is it just from their sources?
They declined. Warner WB TV declined to comment. So
okay.
There's no comment from them. I really enjoy his portrayal of Scarecrow. I think he's doing a great job of, well, he isn't really Scarecrow yet. He's, leading up to that, where I'm sure we're going to see that before the end of the season. But he has been Scarecrow. He does not bring his costume. He's playing the doctor there. And so, any other thoughts on this at all, or?
Not really. I remember seeing it and I was like, okay. I don't really care too much for the drama unless it maybe directly impacts whether something lives or dies. Well,
there's a lot of people that I saw online that says that because of what happened with Hartley Sawyer, that he should have been fired as well, because
this is but it's also it just seems like he was just being a hard to handle, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hot in here, as Eric would sometimes say.
I didn't get a chance to review. I had all my notes for my Titans review, but it just didn't happen. So this last week's episode, because we're getting the new episode tomorrow, I thought it was a fine episode. It was called Lazarus, obviously about Lazarus Pit. And it tells us the story of how we got to the Red Hood from back in the first episode and what happened with Jason and Joker. And so we get to see that downward spiral of his character and what drives him to do this, and how it's kind of with good intentions, but then it ends up going in a dark place. I'm not a huge fan of Red Hood as a standalone character, but this felt like a backdoor pilot for this character.
It felt that was like I said in my video for it. I was like, it's just a straight up backdoor pilot. If they had announced a Red Hood solo show literally the week after this episode aired, I would have been like, oh, well, that makes 100% sense, because that just it didn't feel like a flashback origin episode. It felt like a backdoor pilot filled with flashback origin stuff.
Yeah. It's also odd to me. The reason why it felt that way is because it didn't include any of the other characters from the Titans.
Bruce Wayne.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It was almost like you could have, and maybe this is just me thinking ahead, but I bet you if you subtract this episode from the run of the series, it's not going to matter that much. I don't think it's going to matter in terms of the bigger story, because a lot of it.
I think it depends if any of that stuff with that Molly character or anything comes back into it, which I don't think it will. I'd be surprised if it did, unless she's just name dropped or something.
Because I think that was context for us to sort of understand why he's doing what he's doing. But I don't think it really matters, honestly. The reality is, like he said in this episode, that with Hawk being killed off, there's no turning back for him. I don't think they're going to just forgive him for any of that. Like,
No.
I truly believe that that's it, pretty much. And the rest of it was really just about Bruce and his relationship and what happened with him and the Lazarus Pit and Scarecrow. And it was fine. It's good. Look, I didn't hate the episode. It was an odd sort of flashback episode that
It
felt
felt
like
like
a backdoor pilot.
It felt like you took a detour from the season.
And it's weird because I love the Superboy episode in season 2. But this one, I didn't really feel that way about it. Like, it didn't do a lot for me. But I think,
but they have they seem to have an episode like this per season. Episode in season 1, it was Hawk and Dove when you see the origins of them. And then season 2, it's Superboy. Now season 3, it's Red Hood. But at least in the first 2 seasons, it felt like it added to the season because at least it explored those characters and they're in that same. You see them progress into how they fit into the Titans, but Red Hood's separate from that.
I will say that I think his name is Karan Walters that plays.
I think Karan.
I think Karan Walters,
like Black Karan.
Yeah, he did a great job. I mean, he's trying.
He carried
really
the
hard.
episode. Yeah,
absolutely.
He definitely carried the episode.
Absolutely. So I have nothing negative to say about him. I think he did a really good job here. So,
well, my only thing is that I think he's a good Jason Todd. I don't think he's a good Red Hood. I don't believe him as Red Hood. Like when he takes off the mask and everything, I just don't believe it. But when he has the mask on and everything, and like it has the voice modulator thingy or whatever it is, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. It doesn't even really sound like him when he's wearing the helmet. Like
I'm not sure. I'm assuming it's him. Like, I'd be weird if it wasn't him. Like, I'd be surprised if it wasn't him. But it definitely doesn't sound like him using like when Oliver Queen used the voice modulator. It sounded like Stephen Amell with a voice modulator.
Right. This one doesn't sound like him with a voice modulator. It sounds like someone else to me.
The only thing it does double down that like this is not a Titan show. Like I said it after episode 4 or whatever it was, not the first 3 episodes, but it's I'm really hoping that it becomes a Titan show by the end of season 3 because it's just a Bat Family show,
right?
And it's like this season is such an improvement from season 2. But it's still so far from perfect because it's
I was gonna say it's an improvement in quality, but that doesn't mean that the actual through story is better.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's not like it's reaching what it should be because it's almost ignoring what it needs to be. Yeah. You might say it's better as a Bat Family show, but then make a Bat Family show. Don't call it Titans. Everyone complains about the Flash isn't in the Flash. But then they'll like simp on Titans. I'm like,
or that Batwoman doesn't focus on Batwoman. Like, there's a lot of complaints about that.
So. And then they'll say, "Oh my god, Titans is amazing." I'm like, it's an improvement, but focus. What focus? If you are to focus on,
I would. Is it a stretch to say if you are a huge fan of the Bat Family, you probably love Titans.
You're overlooking
that. But if you are a fan of like the Titans, as like the Teen Titans,
which is I love Titans, especially Teen Titans.
You're probably feeling like the show is lacking.
Oh my god,
in that. So
okay, well, Rival MC is getting ignored for the rest of the stream. the juvenile comment.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to talk about let's see, we've got some quick stories to go over here. We had a Batwoman casting, Bridget Regan to play Poison Ivy in season 3, and it says here Regan will recur as a form of botany. What do you think?
I'm surprised it's actually Pamela Isley because
as Poison Ivy,
because it's at least based off the end of the season, it seemed like it was going to be new people got those things, even though it would have been weird. Like, I got the Penguin's umbrella. I'm the new Penguin. Would have been weird. But I don't know if that means. Do they say about like? Does she?
It says that she's got a mind for changing the world for better. Pamela's plan shifted when she was experimented on by a colleague and injected with various plant toxins that turned her into the infamous Batman villain Poison Ivy. With a formidable power coursing through her veins, Pamela used her powers to do what she thought was right, even if Batman and those closest to her disregarded her dangerous methods. Now effectively wiped off the board for years, Batwoman and the Bat team must prepare themselves for Poison Ivy's return with a vengeance. Because the thing is, didn't they have her power, like her vine or something?
It was like a vine or something like that. But that's why I thought it was going to be like some sort of like infected vine that then might connect to someone or connect to like a dead body or something that brings them back to life.
Mhm.
So I wasn't too sure, but I don't know if it connects back to that at all, or if she just is in Arkham and escapes or something like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll
I'd
be
assume the
honest though,
latter.
I'm actually surprised at how spot on this casting is because and this is Batwoman has tried its best to sort of flip characters around and change them over the years. This is really comic accurate to me, honestly. So I'm just kind of
Yeah,
shocked.
I do have my worries about Batwoman because I don't like how they're bringing in this like biological mother who's just this like multi-billionaire millionaire. It's just
Mhm.
like, so they're just going to make Ryan rich and then sort of
Ooh, I didn't think
completely
about
take it
that. That's a good
and then
question.
just completely take away what made her different
Mhm.
and interesting, sort of,
Yeah.
or at the very least different.
Overall, though, I like the casting. I think
Yeah.
it's
So
spot on
I'm interested to
casting.
see what
So
road they go down, but I don't like the fact they're doing this whole
yeah.
like whatever her mother is, like some sort of like cosmetics billionaire or whatever it is.
Yeah. So it says here, Laura has a comment here about Venom 2 getting PG-13.
Wasn't the first one PG-13?
Was it? I don't even remember, to
I
be
think it
honest.
was. I don't think it was R-rated.
I think a lot of people wanted Carnage to be like very violent because he is in the comics, super, super violent character.
But you just cut away. Like, I mean, it's still a Spider-Man character. They're not gonna make it. I don't think they're ever gonna make it R-rated.
I mean, they could easily show like him attacking someone and then show a shadow of that on the wall of him doing whatever he's doing.
Venom movie rating. Was it
Yeah, Comic
R-rated?
TV says it was rated R. I didn't even know because it wasn't a movie that I cared much about. I
Well, it made
watched it
900
eventually.
million at the box office.
Yeah, it was a huge success. Do you think their PG-13 rating is because they're trying to transition into maybe bringing in more Spider-Man family members or something?
I think from what it says here, it seems it was R. I'm saying I've already is Venom. What was Venom's movie rating? They keep saying, "Let there be carnage." Will be PG-13. It's like, well, what was the first one? Oh, here we go. Rating PG-13.
Okay, so it was
Yeah,
PG-13.
Rotten Tomatoes 29%.
So there
Yeah,
was no reason for them to make it an R movie. I mean, I guess they could have, but there was no reason for them to do it.
yeah. So I didn't think it was R-rated. So yeah, well,
Okay.
yeah. So I know it's a surprise too much if the sequel's PG-13 like the
Right.
first one was.
All right, it's time for a triggering story.
Well, aren't they all triggering?
Well, no, this one's really triggering. Maybe, possibly. It came from the same article over at TV Line.
Uh-oh.
It says, can you please find out if John Cryer will be reprising his role as Lex Luthor on Superman and Lois with Supergirl ending? It says, I delivered your question to showrunner Todd Helbing, who noted that Lex did get a mention in episode 7. As such, Helbing allowed that Cryer someday showing up as the Luthor is a possibility. I don't know if I would want to see this. I don't know. I like John Cryer as Lex Luthor, but they would have to change him a lot, bring him over Superman and Lois.
He'd have to put in a different performance. Because he suits Lex in the context of Supergirl.
Right.
But I don't he'd have to put in a different performance. He'd have to put in like remember that episode where he's dying and he fakes it? That type of performance, but all the time.
Right.
Even then to a bit of a even more elevated.
Like that over the
level.
top, like typical mustache twirling villain wouldn't work on Superman and Lois.
But he has shown he could play that version. As said, like that episode where he's dying, and I think even some other ones as well. Like a flashback episode, we had like the flashbacks. It's like with him and Lena, like that episode. So it's like it has to be that, but consistently the entire time, not just a one-off episode. Where like I'd say like 95% of the time on Supergirl, he's been this like like a mustache twirling like theatrical villain. But I like him in the role. He definitely proved a lot of people. He proved me wrong. I didn't was hating on him, but I was like, oh really, John Cryer, Alan from 2.5 Men, really?
Yeah.
But he came in and he definitely proved a lot of people wrong.
I had to eat my words. I was very skeptical too about him coming in. I basically was like, I don't think he's going to do a good job, blah, blah, blah. But I was hoping that I was wrong. And I was. And I accepted I was wrong because he did a great job on Supergirl.
Well, you're usually wrong, so you're usually accepting.
I know. I'm used to it. I'm used to being wrong all the time.
A lot of L's.
So, anyway,
Eric's
chat.
Reloaded.
So, chat, what do you think? Would you want to see Lex Luthor on Superman and Lois, the actual version from Supergirl, the John Cryer version. Would you want to see that, or would you not want to see that? Because I'm curious what everyone's opinion is. All right. Do we have a Paige's pick this week or no?
I do.
Okay. Let's do this.
It's another playlist of the week.
And then after we're done with Paige's pick, I have a very triggering article. The most triggering article.
Is it a Screen Rant article?
It might be.
Oh God.
It might be a Screen Rant article. Get ready for the triggers.
This is not
Wait, do you know what it is? You probably don't know what it is. You probably don't.
Is it a Ben comic review article?
No. It's not from.
Oh, thank God. They're terrible.
No. It's one that we're gonna read through, but we're gonna just kind of skate through it.
Skate?
Yeah, through it, slide through it.
Skim? Do you mean skim?
You guys want to stick around for this one. Trust and believe. If you've watched our live streams, you want to stick around for this article.
Is this advertising clickbait that you're doing at the moment?
It's not clickbait. It's an editorial piece. But we'll
oh God, they're usually terrible.
I know they are. Well, that's the thing is I want to do it because it's so funny. We might not even read the whole thing. I just want to bring it up because it's fun. Anyway, so let's do
knowing you and the pain you like to deliver, I can see all of it being read out.
All right, Paige's pick. Let's go. It's a playlist. So what is this playlist this week? What is it?
It's just my playlist of the week.
Okay.
I do have another one, and it's called Paige's 15-year-old emo playlist, but that can be saved for next week.
All right.
This one's just a general playlist.
All right.
Obviously, Eric's getting ready to get up and dance, aka intense twerking activated.
Maybe. Might do that.
Something smells in my room at the moment. I'm not sure what it's. I don't know what it is.
Is it The Rock? Can you smell what he's cooking?
Oh no, sorry. It's this elastic band I've been playing with. Anyway,
right.
You know how elastic bands can sometimes smell
weird?
Yes.
They
Yeah,
can.
I was wondering what that smell was. I was like, "What the hell is it's this elastic band?" And whoa! My God.
Did it just pop? Did it hit you?
I almost fell off my chair.
Oh no!
I can confirm I am not drunk and or stoned, so do not get concerned. I just almost fell off my chair though.
All right.
That was a weird sound effect. Are you dancing?
Mm-hmm. I'm getting ready. This better be a good playlist. That's all I got.
I just got jump scared by Storm in the bottom. I've never seen her there.
Oh, right there?
Yeah, is she always there?
Mm-hmm.
I thought someone was looking at me from the depths of hell. I was like, what the hell's that? Yeah,
It's
don't smell elastic bands. They're a bit dodgy.
That's a painting that I did. So it's actually
Is that a flex?
It is a flex.
Is that that from the OnlyFans where you paint them with your nipples?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a Wonder Woman over there too. I have a Phoenix one and a Raven one. They're all in the other room. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, we've managed to extend this stupid conversation for about 3 minutes roughly.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move into Paige's playlist of the week and
all right,
get our mind off nipple paintings for at least 5 minutes.
All right.
I am going a bit mad in lockdown. Okay. I can confirm I will be driving up to Coles.
Expect daily videos from Paige for the next 3 months. So.
Well, I did daily videos for the past 10 daes. I think actually no, I skipped one day. Edgy. Anyway, players of the week. First song, Push Up Freestylers. Thoughts?
Okay. Haven't heard it in forever. It's not something I play at the club.
When I think of it, I think of that Asian guy from American Idol.
Oh yeah.
Push up.
Yeah. Yep. No, I haven't played it in a while. I like it, but yeah, freestylers are always good. So
what do you like? What's the song? Is it just what's the song where it's like rock the microphone? What's that song called? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's one of their bigger hits. I don't remember the name of it, but it was like
Freestyler. Rock a microphone. It just that's called Freestyler by Bone Funk MCs.
Okay.
This is called, they've copied that. They've tried to confuse me there. They've tried to bank off the success of the Bone Funk MCs Freestyler by naming their band Freestyler.
Look at this one. It's a hot take coming through from Canada Graphs. How do you feel about that? Any thoughts? He has nothing to say. Canada Graphs has made Paige silent. He's gone quiet. Is he breathing? Are you still alive?
Australia, yeah.
I think maybe.
Australia, yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
Maybe. Wait, is Canada on lockdown too?
No, Canada's just shit.
Oh. All right. Well, there we go. Continue.
At least it's not New Zealand. They got locked down over 1K. I think they're in a higher lockdown than Australia is over 1K, which is a bit weird.
Yeah.
I understand them locking down, but they went like over the top for 1Ks. Which I think actually spreads it more because people go mad faster and then they want to go out and then they end up spreading it. Hashtag super spreader ban. Yeah, push up freestylers. Like that that to me is an intense twerking song.
All right.
Would you classify it as an intense twerking?
Or dabbing. One or the other. Yes. I don't know.
Hold on. I'm just trying to imagine the song in my head and dabbing. No, because it push up.
You could dab up. You could dab down.
Yeah, but that's pulling up. Because when you do a dab, you don't push. You sort of like pull your hands back. Well, at least one hand back and one arm's just straight. I don't know. Let me know in the chat. Is it intense twerking?
Yeah, let us know.
I think it's intense twerking. Eric's intense dabbing, which makes no sense to me.
All right, what's your next one?
It has up in the title. Next one, "Pumped Up Kicks" by Foster the People.
Obviously, I'm not gonna say no lyrics from that song. No lyrics from that song. By the way, I will say this: if anybody here has ever listened to "Pumped Up Kicks" and you don't know what the actual song is about, go read the lyrics and think about it. It's not.
It's definitely about America.
Yes, but it's also one of those songs where it's like it can see it's totally. I don't even know the way to put this without getting demonetized. It's deceptive because it's got a up tempo like poppy sound to it, but the lyrics are very dark. Just so you know. Anyway.
Would you say intense twerking?
No, I don't think so. Not to that song.
Maybe a bit dark. It might be a bit dark to do any intense twerking to that song.
Probably. Radical Z said it's Harry Potter Day today. Is it? Is today Harry Potter Day?
Well, why do you think I've got my photo as Harry Potter?
Maybe.
And Eric's got his Chucky Finster over the top Harry Potter glasses.
I do actually. I do. All right, next song.
I had to bring in the classic at number 3. And Eric's sort of rocking this guy's look, at least his present day look, maybe plus a beard. I got Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice.
Oh. Ice Ice Baby. Such a huge song.
I was actually shocked to hear that he made like no money off this song because Queen and David Bowie just took all the money.
Well, I remember, so I was in high school when the song came out. So I remember the drama around that sample and how he tried to convince people that it didn't come from Under Pressure. He went through everything he could. Like he made several interview statements where he's like, mine goes instead of like he was like making sound effects on why his was different. But it was literally just a copy of that. And even radio stations around here, like a lot of the DJs were mashing up Under Pressure with Ice Ice Baby and turning them into like one song. And so I'm like, there's no way he's going to get away with this. And then he had a couple other popular songs after that. Now he does like, he's got a reality TV show for home renovation, I think, or something.
What?
Yeah.
What do they call it?
Let's see. Hold on.
House Baby?
No, I can't remember. It's the Vanilla Ice Project.
Oh, that's a terrible name.
Yeah.
House Baby. How is that not their title?
I don't know. It's on the DIY network, and it's had 9 seasons.
Oh my god! Well, they're easy. That's how you churn them out. They churn them out like nothing.
9 seasons. Anyway, yes, I remember he was really popular. He went on tour with MC Hammer. I went and saw them live, so that's a flex. Anyway,
that would have been intense twerking.
Yeah, maybe. I actually in that era, I was wearing a lot of the clothes that were popular because of those artists, like the parachute pants, the shell-toed shoes.
Do you have any outfits like
Not anymore, no, but I did back then. I had a lot of them. I actually
You
had
did?
several. What?
Do you have
do
any
mean?
photos of Eric in parachute pants?
I don't think so. I mean, I might have. I've got a bunch of pictures that I dug up at my
Oh,
mom's house.
okay.
I might
We
have some of
need
there.
some
So,
research and we
um,
need showtime. We need show and
maybe,
tell next
possibly,
week. If you want
possibly.
show and tell of parachute pant wearing Eric, let him know. Obviously, go hashtag parachute Eric on Twitter.
I did. I also loved Bobby Brown, and Bobby Brown wore a lot of the same clothes that Vanilla Ice and MC
Is
Hammer
it
wore.
possible to twerk in parachute pants?
I mean, you could, but yeah, I don't know. MC Hammer changed music forever, and now he's broke, which is crazy. Okay, next song.
Oh, how funny! I got next up I got Mickey by Tony Basil.
It's so interesting. She was such a huge pop artist with that one song, but now she's gone on to do a lot of stuff on Broadway, and she's a choreographer, and she's been doing it for years, like a dance choreographer. So it's really crazy to me that she went from that song to where she is now. But she's made a lot. Her career has been really huge because of that. But I love that song. It's a fun song. I actually had a dance mix that I played back in like 2010. It came out for a while.
Is it too dated now to play in 2021?
I mean, there's probably updated remixes to it. There's updated remixes for everything. So
interesting.
So what's your next one?
This is actually fan requested. People were crying out for this to be put in here for some reason. And that's All the Things She Said by Tattoo.
Oh.
I'm not too sure if it's the lesbian aspect. I'm not too sure. Or the Russian aspect. It's one of the two.
Yeah. That group's had a lot of controversy as well over the years. The two of them.
Wasn't it controversy when that video clip came out because of the lesbian aspect?
Well, it was, but they've also had issues between the two of them. Like they've had creative differences,
drama.
and they've split up and got back together and split up and got back together. So it's been a lot of stuff. But
sounds like midweek during the after party.
It was actually.
Yeah, you should see the off stream drama between DJ Eric and after party co-hosts that start with a P. And
always
drama.
But I will say that song had so many dance remixes. I remember there were so many versions of it. But yeah, it was sort of crazy because, well, I mean, the fact that it was LGBTQ and it was from Russia made it even more sort of edgy. So
double the edgy.
What's your next one?
Well, this sounds like it would be Twerkalicious.
Okay.
Based off the title. And it sounds like it's almost like an instruction to commence said intense twerking and or chocking. Not dabbing, but twerking and chocking to an intense level. And that's Shake It by Metro Station.
That is a twerk. That is more of a twerking song, I think, for me.
In what regard?
Because it's not a dabbing song. It's not a chalking song. But it might be for intense twerking, maybe. I don't know.
See, the issue with this is when you confirm that it is indeed a intense twerking suitable song, you are now providing people with ammunition to request said examples of intense twerking.
That will only occur on TikTok. So if you're not following me on TikTok, you will never see that.
So wait, so you're confirming or potentially teasing intense twerking to these certain songs on the DJ Eric TikTok?
To Metro Station? No, I'm not confirming that at all.
So no intense twerking to Shake It.
Maybe if I can find a good remix to it, which I don't know if that even exists because it was like a scene band, right? So I don't know. Maybe there's one.
Okay, can I give you an insight to 13, 14-year-old Paige when this song came out?
Yes, give us some insight.
This video doesn't exist on the internet anymore. I wish it did. I would just show you. It's me taking the piss with one of my friends from high school. Okay. But there was these two kids in high school that were obsessed with parkour. This was like peak parkour, I think. This was like, I think parkour was like started to get big, like the end of the 2000s, early 20s. Oh no, so it was in like the late 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
So these two kids in my high school in my year did parkour, and they called themselves the Parkour Bros. And they uploaded this video. Everyone made fun of them. They thought it was awesome. It was really cringy. So me and one of my friends, I think it was like on the weekend or like, you know what I mean, like after school or something like that, made this parody video. See, I should be in Hollywood with some filmmakers or something like that. But
okay,
we made this parody version.
Where is this parody video at now?
It doesn't exist. I wish it did. I would show you it. I
think that's all cap.
If I can look,
you would hide it from us.
I might be able to go through the internet archives and try and find it. But we called it ourselves Parkour Cousins. And we did memeing up parkour, just like stupid, like think of like, you know, the Office episode where they run through and go parkour. We did that before that.
So you originated that. They stole
I'm
it
not
from
saying
you?
I'm not saying the Office saw our video on YouTube, which I'm not lying, got about 9,000 views, which back then in like 2008 YouTube was a lot of views for some stupid video.
Yeah.
This isn't cap. I don't lie with these stories. This is a real thing. But the music in the background was Shake It by Metro Station.
Oh my god.
So imagine a parody parkour video doing stupid jumps and grabs and stuff off walls and stuff to Shake It by Metro Station in the background with us going parkour. Because that's what they said in the video. They went, this is Parkour Brothers, but we would just go, this is parkour. So we didn't go parkour.
You need to, if I'm going to dig up a picture of me wearing like
I will try and find it. I will do my hardest. It might be on Facebook somewhere in the archives or some sort of YouTube thing. I will try and find it. And we didn't do one, we did 3. There was 3 volumes, which added people from our school each time.
Oh no.
If I can find it. And there was also another video I remember called Bushman, which was one of my friends from high school hid in a bush. And when someone walked past, he would grab them and pull them into the bush.
So y'all were pulling pranks before pranks were a thing? Is that what this is all about?
And this is all filmed on like a 20p Nokia camera.
Oh no.
No, but Parkour Cousins, I think, is better quality. I think it was like, yeah, I will try and find it, but just imagine that with Shake It by Metro Station in the background.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try and imagine it, but you need to look.
And I know one of the videos had tub thumping in the background. I get knocked out.
Chumbawamba. Okay.
Yeah, Chumbawamba.
Yeah.
I hope I have the video.
Yeah.
If I find it, I will.
Before we jump into your next
song.
Hold on.
Yeah, let me try and see. What if Parkour Bros?
Staggervore says with Super Chat, we've seen a lot of redhead characters get race swapped in recent comic or cartoon adaptations. Interesting to see that wasn't the case for Poison Ivy. I mean, that's kind of what I was saying earlier, is that I'm actually shocked that they went with a comic book accurate character when they could have gone in any direction they wanted. So maybe people will say, well, this is cool. They're actually giving us like a proper Poison Ivy.
Wait, hold on. If anyone actually wants to spend time on YouTube, you might actually be able to find Parkour Cousins. I'm not saying you want to.
Okay, mark that now. Parkour Cousins. Look that up.
But Parkour Bros was the. I wish I could find it. It's at least Parkour Bros to give you the example of it. I don't know. I'll try and find it. I'll try and do some research. But
all right, what's your next song?
Oh, damn it! Wish I could find that. Anyway, that's a good story time. Next up, we have "Cranked Out" by Soulja Boy.
Oh, I still play that. People still request that song to this day. So I hear it like at least once or twice a month now. So, you know, it's hard to believe that he was doing that and now he's lying about being the owner of Atari. It's gone from that to completely capping on the internet and saying that he owns everything and he created everything. So he did recently said he was the owner of Atari, and it was like, what are you talking about? But yeah.
Maybe he's just a bit delusional. I'm not too sure.
Maybe, possibly.
Oh God! Don't
right, what's your next
water bottle?
It's got a cap on it. No cap. Go ahead. What's the next one?
We got 2 caps there. You're definitely capping. I got There She Goes by the Lars. Is that
That song has been in so many movies and TV shows, and
well, I don't think that's intense twerking.
No, I mean, how would you even? No.
It'd have to be. It wouldn't be intense. It'd be like slow dancing, but slow twerking. So there she goes.
You have to twerk a little bit to the side. Twerk a little bit to the side. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Rewind. Crank that.
Right. What about it?
Is that intense twerking?
That's everything. There's actually a dance for that though. So I mean, like you wouldn't twerk. You would.
That dance is more like dabbing. It's like sort of fisting.
It's like
dabbing.
Ooh.
No, but it's like with fists. It's like a loose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the breaststroke.
Yes, I know. That's a very loose adaptation of it, but there's a dance for it, so you wouldn't really twerk.
Like, hold on. We just got to tease at Eric dancing. Can we get a replay on that?
No, you could take and snippet that and put it up on social media.
I'm sure it'll be a GIF when you type in Eric. At the moment, if you type in Eric on Twitter GIFs, it comes up with him chocking at the moment.
It does. If you type in, if you use my Twitter name or my YouTube name, it's the very top picture.
There's two. One's better quality, I think.
Yeah,
but they're both the same thing, I think.
Next song.
I got Starlight by the Superman Lovers.
Oh, I haven't heard that in forever.
Yeah, that video clip creeped me out because there's that potato.
Yeah,
I don't like it. It scares me.
Does it? I might have to watch it again. It
creeps me out. Just watch it. It's Starlight Superman. Starlight. Yeah, don't like that potato. It really creeps. I think it's a potato. And he's like friends with a rat.
Potato, tomato.
No, it's a potato.
Yeah. So, did you like that song, or did you like when you?
I don't mind the song, but thank God, like, I don't have to see that video clip. I don't like it. I don't like that potato. It's good, and he flies to space or some crap.
If this is completely off topic, like from your playlist, but if anybody wants to see a really screwed up video that will scar you for life, look up Duck Sauce Big Bad Wolf. If you've never
I think you're typing. I think I say Rock DJ by Robbie Williams.
Look up Duck Sauce Big Bad Wolf and just watch that video. It will scar you for the rest of your life. And I'm warning you, if you don't want to be scarred for the rest of your life, don't look it up. But anyway, next one, Paige.
Yeah, I won't be looking that up. So if anyone else wants to do it, feel free to do that. That won't be that won't be me. Anyway, to finish off, this is the last song, and I left the sleaziest, most probably twerkalicious potentially.
Twerkalicious. Okay, I'm intrigued.
The song that's probably most lined up with intense twerking, and this is an Australian song. I think I've sent it to Eric before. I sent a tweet about it, but it's called "Flaunt It" by TV Rock featuring Shawnee B.
Yes, you have sent this to me before.
It's an Australian club song, and it's been branded as one of the sleaziest songs ever.
Yeah, I do remember you saying.
If you want to see, just type in "Flaunt It" by TV Rock. And also, hold on, I will. I'm going to read out some of the lyrics without singing it, just to give you some of the. And this actually might give Eric some insight into whether it's twerkalicious or intense twerking appropriate. Okay, I'm gonna go to the I'm gonna go to the chorus. Okay, so go on and flaunt it, ha! What your mama gave you, ha! Let my bass line rearrange you, ha! This track's designed to make you cream. Go on and flaunt it, huh? What your mama gave you, huh? Nobody ain't gonna tame you, huh? Gonna make you dance till you bleed.
So I believe that this person that you're talking about did a challenge on Australia's Next Top Model. I think I saw an episode where
it would be fitting. Is it mid-2000s or something?
It was, yeah. And he was doing a music video with models in the video, and that's why he was on the show.
Yeah, you can look up the music video. I need to preface this. This was like number one or something for weeks. It was extremely popular.
No thanks.
And I remember reading this thread where this Irish guy or Scottish
Mhm.
guy or something recounts living in Australia in like the late 2000s and having to hear this song.
All right. All right. So that's the end of Paige's pick. And next week, hopefully, we'll have some photos or some videos to show. I'll have to go digging for something. All right. So we are coming up on the 20-minute before we end things mark. And it is time to pull up the edgiest.
Well, I'm going to quickly go get a refill of my drink because I feel like I might die.
All right.
Give me 2 seconds.
This is going to be the edgiest article that I think I've ever pulled up on the after party. If you're one of the 100 people still here, you are in for a treat because this article just came out, I think a week ago, and I didn't see it anywhere. Someone sent this to me. This was sent to me. All right. This article is probably the edgiest take we've had on the after party ever. I think it is. So I think Paige is going to be very excited about this article. And yeah. It's any guesses? I'm curious from the chat before I pull this article up. Are there any guesses on what this is? It is Arrowverse related. I will tell you that it is Arrowverse related. Any guesses on what it is before I pull this article up? Just curious. Just wondering. Thoughts on what the Doom Patrol season 3 trailer? It looks interesting, Zoko. I'm curious about it. The Weekly Geekly is it is 5:00 on Sundays, New York time.
Sorry, I went to the little boys' room on the way back.
It is not about Eric Wallace. It's not about Green Arrow and the Canaries.
It's about a combination. It
is about the Flash, but not the Flash specifically. So here we go. Let's pull up the article. Are we ready? Is everyone ready for this edgy article?
I'm always ready, Eric.
10 unpopular opinions about Iris West Allen, according to Reddit.
Oh, no.
According to Reddit. These are 10. We're not going to read all of these. We're just going to kind of talk about them briefly. But we got 20 minutes to kind of go through this, right? This is 10 unpopular opinions about Iris West Allen, which I'm assuming means that people believe that these opinions are not good, that these are wrong opinions.
So these are opinions that people have that most people would disagree with.
Yes, but I think it's going against what again, unpopular opinion. I think it's going against the majority.
Well, yeah, but it depends. Is it unpopular opinions through the eyes of a West Allener or the general public?
We will see as we go through this article here.
Have you skimmed it yet, or is this a reaction?
I have skimmed through the first 3, but that's it. I don't know the rest of them after that. All right. Number 10.
Wait, is this Screen Rant?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Number 10. She was a great leader while Barry was gone.
Well, hold on. So you've got a cap on. I can't find my cap. Does anyone have the cap emoji for the chat? Just to make up for the lack of caps on screen.
I mean,
actually, Eric's got 4 caps on the wall.
Yeah,
those are caps, aren't they? Okay, so
yeah, they're all caps.
I don't know. I think that's a decent amount. Maybe we don't need them in the chat. It's up to you, I guess, if you want to put them in there.
Okay. So it says at the end of season 3,
wait, hold on. Can we get a scroll up? Who wrote the article?
It was written by Trisha Maywire. Okay. But I believe that these are quotes from this
Reddit.
Is from Reddit.
They're just collecting all the.
It's like a
it's not their opinion. It's their
right. It's like an aggregation of Reddit comments, really.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it goes here. It says, at the end of season 3, Barry went to the Speed Force to stabilize it and prevent it from destroying Central City. With Barry gone, Iris became the leader of Team Flash. Fans had mixed opinions, as most felt that she didn't have the qualifications to lead people that relied on scientific principles to fight the powerful villains in Team Flash. Contrary to that, Quantum Wolf 0813 on Reddit says, Iris was also a great team leader while Barry was in the Speed Force. While it's true that Iris had no scientific knowledge, she was the logical option as the others had to balance out responsibilities with being out in the field. She had no combat training, so she couldn't go into the field. That's the best place for her, was in the lab. As the leader, she kept the team together and motivated them as any good leader would do. So in the chat, I'm going to ask you, is this how many caps does this get? That is what I'm curious. Like, Paige, what do you think about this? This clearly this was done to give Iris something to do because they didn't really have a place for her on the show at the moment, other than being there on the side with Barry, correct? I mean, that's kind of what this was.
You pretty much nailed it. And they went the wrong way that they should have with the character. They put Iris in the middle of where she'd be constantly reminded of Barry and was not able to move on in any sense. And the whole point of that first episode is about moving on. I don't want to bring Barry back, but then she's literally sitting in an environment that would constantly remind her of him, no matter what. And that's also doubled down in a home environment. Like, I've been rewatching season 4. I'm about a quarter of the way through it, roughly. I think I'm just before the crossover in that season. I think it was, which I think it's Crisis on Earth X. But it's so clear. Like, I just completely forgot like how clear it was that they stuffed up Iris from the get-go for this season. Like, I completely forgot that it was that clear. I just thought it was, once we got a few episodes in, it made it like it was pretty clear. But episode 1, like halfway through the episode, like, why is she even in this situation? It's not working.
Right. And keep in mind here, this is something that people tend to forget when they're watching these shows.
And that's me in defense of Iris as a character. Yes. She shouldn't have been there.
Oh, so this is not like, I think a lot of these are going to be things that are like
people will assume that we're attacking, but it's the opposite. We're saying it was detrimental to her character.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting. Iris has been used correctly in certain stories, but this was not one of them. And
in this season, I think season 3 she was used correctly. Yeah, she's really bad this season. They've used her really terribly this season.
And let me say, I also want to remind people that when people try to justify Iris as a character, a lot of times they forget that someone is writing that character. Someone is writing things for Iris to say and do. Iris is not a real, just like Barry's not a real person.
And Candace isn't creating the lines. Candace is going, oh, this is a good line for me to say.
So you don't have to defend Iris as a character because you think that people are disrespecting her as a character, because Candace is just reading the lines that the writers are giving her. So she's going to be only as good as the people that are writing the character. That's just the reality of it. Okay, here we go. Next one, number 9. Her reaction to Barry going into the Speed Force was justified. I remember this actually. After Barry's return in season 3. Yeah.
Season 4, episode 2, counseling session.
Yep. So Barry, like, basically, how could you leave me? Many fans didn't understand her reaction, but Redditor Cora Biceps said, yes, her husband is the Flash, but that doesn't mean she's always going to be 100% fine with the fact that he always ran into danger. This was another dumb thing that they had Iris do, because if Barry did not go into the Speed Force, everything would have been destroyed.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Barry had a decision, should I do this or should I not do this? It literally wasn't a decision that could be made. She wouldn't even be sitting there with him having couples counseling if he wouldn't have done that.
Yeah. He was the Flash before they were a thing.
So she can be mad at him because of the circumstances, but that should not be, the anger should not be directed at him. All right, next one. Her "We Are the Flash" line is severely misunderstood. When Barry said it was his duty as the Flash to save the city, Iris countered with, "We are the Flash." Fans were up in arms over the statement as they felt she was taking credit for Barry's heroics. A few didn't mind, and one fan on Reddit said the line is a metaphor for the West Allen supportive relationship. The line came after a controversial accusation that Barry left her, so unsurprisingly, was this season 4 as well?
Yeah, I think it's episode 3.
Okay. Upsetting some fans.
However, it's early on. It's early on. It's in that first 3 or 4 episodes.
I feel like a lot of these problems are going to be from season 4 and beyond, because that's kind of where it all started.
Well, that's her worst season. Like, it's either season 4. You could even argue the last of season 3, but it's not even her. Like, she's just not even a character in the back half of season 3. She's like an object or a story plot point. She's not even a character.
But here's the deal.
Season 4 is going to be most of this.
Yeah, and I'm going to say that the idea that it's a metaphor for their partnership, it is. But that doesn't mean the line isn't cringy, and it also doesn't mean that it seemed weird to be like forced on the show. You can say it once, but they've repeated it so much now that it's been a problem.
The issue is she doesn't even say "We are the Flash." Her actual line it's probably worse. It's even worsely written. It's, "You're not the Flash, Barry. We are." Right. It's like, no, he's the Flash. He's the Flash. You're Iris. And that's
go.
the issue with the thing that it still exists to this day. Oh god, this number 7 is going to be triggering, but anyway.
Yeah.
At the moment we're in this I don't even know what you would call it, but we're in this like moment where we're still discussing, is Iris even a character? Like, well, she is a character. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Like, what is Iris's role on the show? And
I
wish, give some. You say what you want to say, but everyone in the chat, what is Iris's role on the show? If you have to bring it down to,
everyone on the show can be quantified to their purpose on the show.
Yeah,
everyone.
What is Iris's role on the show? And I'm wondering how many people will say, but I'll let you go, and I'll let everyone type that in the chat while you're talking.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna say that I think that Eric Wallace has made several statements about making Iris a more cohesive character and giving her literal Iris West stuff that she can do, but we haven't seen that in a long time. We haven't seen it in a long time. I see a lot of interesting comments down there.
Yeah, and most people are getting it right. What should she be? Investigative journalist, top journalist in Central City.
She should be at the level of Lois Lane. She should be
voice
at the level
voice
of that
for the public, the point of view for the public looking into this world of superheroes. But we have it. Barry's wife.
Yeah,
most people are saying it, and that's
okay.
what she, and which is really sad to think about it. That's what they've dumbed it down to, is just Barry's wife.
Yeah. Number 7 is Run Iris Run wasn't a bad episode. After confronting Melting Point, I'm curious. I'm going to read through this and then we're going to process it.
I don't think it's.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No. I think, are they saying it's the most hated episode here in his like description? Because I don't think it is. I think Girls Night Out or Love is a Battlefield is.
Yeah, I would agree. After confronting Melting Point, Barry lost his speed to Iris. She spent the episode as a speedster, and the episode received mixed reviews, and some didn't enjoy it. Sharing their less popular opinion, Reddit user The Box says it wasn't an all-out bad episode, and pointed out that the most hated it for it being Iris-centric. Story-wise, the episode was realistic and handled well. Iris didn't immediately become an excellent speedster, and she made mistakes. Even Barry's jealousy when she had powers and his frustration when he couldn't help her phase made sense. So this episode it was mostly the dialogue. A lot of the characters had bad dialogue. The conversations didn't make a lot of sense. And let's be fair here.
They tried to like make a point out of the episode and completely failed. They tried to use it as like an Iris development episode, but once we get past it, like, when's it ever referenced back to?
It was an episode to set up Nora and the future.
Well, yeah, when you look at it, it's literally to set up Nora's outfit, and that's it.
So it wasn't for Iris, and that's the thing that makes it so sad. Is that
reminds me of the Allegra episode.
Yeah, they could have had a good, like, I didn't care that Iris was a speedster. I thought all of that setup made sense. It was, the dialogue was bad. I think at the end when Barry asking her to give him speed back was a little weird. It was just, there was a lot of things in this episode where I'm like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. All right, let's move on.
I just looked up the bottom rated. The worst is, funnily enough, we just mentioned it. The Allegra episode is the lowest rated episode ever.
I'm not surprised.
Then Love is a Battlefield. Girls Night Out, Mother, and then Run Iris Run.
So it's not even at the top. It's What? Was it Mother the end of season 6?
Yeah, it's episode 3 for season 7. Right. So the season 6 finale.
I hated that episode too. So
the 6th lowest rated episode is episode 9 for this season.
Right.
It's lower rated than Family Matters Part 1 and 2, which are the next ones. There's a lot of season 7 episodes.
Yeah, I didn't like episode 3, by the way. Okay, so here we go. This is another one where I'm probably going to have an issue with it because I think this is the biggest problem with the character, is she's a well-written character. Several fans on Reddit have pointed to poor writing as the reason why Iris is not a likable character, which is accurate. A few, like @_total on Reddit, believe Iris is one of the most well-written characters on the show. What? City of Vengeance.
Okay, well, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Everyone got those caps?
Yeah.
Eric's. Yeah. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on Eric's screen. Do I have a picture of someone with a hat?
Keep popping caps. That's all I gotta say.
Don't say that. No, oh, here we go. There's someone with a hat. Okay, so I've got a hat.
Yeah.
So if you got any caps, feel free.
Yeah. Okay. So it says City Avenger explained he believed the unpopular views as well because Iris learned things and gained experiences along the way and has applied that to where she is now, which, by the way, isn't unique to her character. Like, that's like saying that no one else on the show has done that. Those types of things, learning things and moving along with that, is the basic premise of a serialized television show. That doesn't mean that she's well written. It says there are some aspects of Iris' story that fans don't like because it fed into certain tropes and stereotypes that aren't developed properly, like her transition to the team's leader, or some of the fact that some of the storylines of the Flash drop. Yes, but there are also some good ones in there, especially from season 6, where she has storylines that actively involve her and finally giving her a voice.
But that's the thing; it goes back into they set them up, but then drop them.
Exactly.
And they don't focus in on them, so it's impossible. This contradicts itself. She can't be a well-written character if they don't follow through with all the stuff that they're setting up.
And you can't say someone's well-written because they have some good stories. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. All right, let's go down here and do, what is it, number 5. She and Barry. Okay, so this one I'm going to sort of agree with this one. Fans watch Barry and Iris evolve from friends to husband and wife, and the journey is filled with adorable moments. While some fans enjoyed it, others, like Halloween Lover on Reddit, said they don't have any chemistry between Barry and Iris in the show. Their chemistry is often compared to that of Barry and other women. That includes Patty, Linda, Caitlin, and Felicity from Arrow.
I can explain this. Explain this. So I think they have chemistry on the show. Whether it's romantic chemistry is another question. Okay. I personally don't think it's necessarily the most compatible in regards to like a romantic love interest sort of thing. But one of the biggest issues with the relationship, obviously everyone's going to go, oh my God, it's incestual, which it isn't. I think it's juvenile to say it's incestual.
Yeah.
But they made the same mistake that Arrow made with Laurel and Oliver. And do you know what that mistake is?
With Laurel and Oliver?
Yeah, it's the exact same mistake that they did with Laurel and Oliver, which led to Oliver and Felicity being seen as a better couple in the earlier seasons of Arrow.
Or you mean they tried to force it on people, or tried to make it
they knew each other before the show started.
Oh, okay, got you.
So we didn't get to see them meet, develop as characters, build that relationship.
Got it.
But every other relationship that Barry,
Arrowverse said they've been friends for ages. Yeah, that makes sense.
But every other romantic interest or female friendship that Barry's had on the show, we've seen it start, develop, grow for however long it's lasted.
Right.
With Iris, we're just meant to go, oh yeah, Barry's known her since he was what? Well, I guess whatever old. How old?
By the way, this is going to be the 5-minute warning for everybody. 5 minutes here.
So that's the mistake they made.
Yeah,
and it doesn't let the audience buy into it.
Yeah,
it's the same mistake they made with Laura and Oliver. And that's why I was so shocked when they did it with the Flash.
My issue with their chemistry is they always have to verbalize it. That's the problem I have with it. Like, it's always like them confirming verbally that they are a couple and that they belong together and all of these things. It comes across to me in that sense as disingenuous. But I think that Candace and Grant do have chemistry on screen. It's just a matter of how they handle it on the show. And they've had some issues with that. Okay, number 4. The show needs more West Allen moments. All right, I'm not even reading that. All right,
I think that's almost like a pointless one.
Yeah,
I agree with this one.
Yeah, Savitar should have killed. Yes, not because I want to see Iris go away. I don't
because you wasted our time.
Right, because the one decision that Iris made in season 3 that was her decision, completely done without any outside input, was that she was ready to commit to whatever this destiny is.
Yeah.
And then they took that away from her. They took that power away from her as a character. And like, you might say, well, she would have died or whatever, but she made the decision.
You know what? We've just had this episode of What If with Doctor Strange, which fits into this. It's like a absolute point in time that Iris has to die. And that doesn't mean Iris doesn't come back on the show. They could have gone down that route where it's a future, like they could have done that whole story. They could have brought Iris back in some way. But the story that they set up in season 3, her dying is her storyline. Mm-hmm. But it's not necessarily, she's just dying. That's her storyline. It's about her accepting that and growing into that destiny, and also having to come to terms with it as well.
Right. And then they show that the only reason Savitar exists is because she was killed off. It's like,
Yeah.
What? And then they try to explain this story. If you asked anyone that was involved with the writing and anything to do with season 3 at the end of it, they have no idea about anything. It's like they got 15 episodes in and then just didn't know what the hell they were doing at that point. It's really confusing. Number 2, she's one of the best developed characters. I don't even want to read this because this again
it just
feeds into what we've already talked about. Like she's not her development. Clearly.
Explain her development.
Yeah. I wish I could. The development that she gets, they keep taking it away from her. Oh, we're going to give you this reporting storyline that's really important. Oh, wait, we want you to be a plot device.
Yeah.
Forget everything we just did. And then we hit the reset button in between seasons. She comes back.
I can't wait to see what number 1 is. I can't wait to see what number 1 is.
All right, here we go. Let's go to number 1. Most unfairly hated character in the Arrowverse.
I would agree with that to an extent.
Yes, I do.
Actually, I just agree with that blankly. Like when Donna's smoke exists in the Arrowverse.
When Cupid exists.
When Cupid exists. When I want my money. When I'm in a black. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I think that's clear that that's a true statement. Well, most unfairly hated character. Is that insinuating like the most? I don't think it's fair to hate Iris at all because I think it's not necessarily her as a character and what Candace does. Because let's be honest, everyone on the Flash, outside of probably Joe, has had really bad moments in regards to writing and character moments. Like Joe's probably the only one that gets by with it.
At the end of the day, major I don't hate Iris. That's the thing. No. I don't have issues. I don't even dislike Iris. Like that is probably the biggest misconception about my thoughts on Iris.
The issue is, well, you know what it is? It's because we've just labeled all these issues, but then she's always on screen, but it feels like there's nothing going on at the same time. It just feels like you're wasting your time a lot with the stuff that they're doing with her. And just like, well, yeah, you're trying to make Iris an important character, but not giving us many reasons to support that.
Yeah. And of course, as always, guys, all of this is sort of subjective for the most part. There are a few things that you could probably say, well, you're just basically lying to yourself. But a lot of those are like things like the more West Island moments. Like, I mean, I'm not going to argue against that. If that's what you want to see.
That just really depends on what you watch the show for. It's like some people want Flash running. Some people want Flash punching. Some people want Barry dabbing. Some people want Cisco chalking. Like, it's just what you watch the show for.
Pretty much. So anyway, I think that, and the reason why I pulled that article up is I thought it was an interesting take on like a lot of the conversations we've had. And yes, it is a pretty edgy article, but a lot of it goes to show, for me, the thought process and the opinions of the people who seem to like Iris. But I often wonder if their love for Candace as an actress overlooks a lot of the issues with Iris as a character.
I think you've nailed it. I think that's the issue, I think, with a lot of fandom related stuff. When there's like a shipping sort of thing, they just sort of overlook clear and obvious errors because they're like, well, like, I want to support the actress. Like, you can still support the actress. I think Candace probably knows. Like, Candace would know. She's not dumb. Obviously, she would know that there's stupid things that have happened with Iris.
Grant, same thing. I don't dislike her, and I don't hate her. And people seem to assume that about me because I have opinions about her. But I have opinions about every character in the Arrowverse. It's just the hardest thing about her is like I feel like we can't speak about our thoughts on her as a character because we get attacked because people think we're going after Candace.
Well, do you know what I did? In season 5, I just stopped talking. It was bad, but it was just because if you ever said anything, it was like, oh, well, I know why Iris do this. You get attacked. I stopped talking about Candace and Iris in my videos for about half a season.
Right.
And so I'm not even joking. If you go back to I think some of my videos at a certain point in season 5, I don't actually say the word Iris. I just say Nora and her mother. It got to that point where I had to stop talking about it because it was just crazies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you got to that point where you just couldn't discuss the character in any sort of constructive way because that happened.
Right. So, Gary with a very last minute super chat. Thank you, Gary. Is Pat a good guy? Yes. Pat is a good guy. I don't think there's any question about that. Pat is probably the only character in that entire show that I could go, I can't see him doing anything evil. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. The dog, maybe possibly. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. We're gonna get out of here, and we will see you next time with maybe some more edgy content. Maybe possibly.
God.
We'll see.
And maybe some twerking and hammer pants.
Maybe
Parachute
possibly.
pants. Sorry.